All right, today we are creating the ultimate guide to one of the most in-demand careers in tech right now, business analysis. So if you're really serious about turning your curiosity into an actual career, well, you've come to the right place. This is your starting line. And look, it's a totally normal feeling. You see that job title popping up everywhere, you know it's a fantastic career path, but where do you even start? It feels like the starting line is kind of invisible. There's just so much info out there. It's easy to get overwhelmed before you even take the first step. But that's exactly why we're here. We've put together a super clear step-by-step map. Think of this as your visual journey, taking you all the way from aspiring BA to just got hired. So let's dive right in. Okay, so every good adventure starts with a map, right? In this first section, we're going to get our bearings. We'll explore the landscape, and more importantly, we're going to bust some really common myths that could totally send you in the wrong direction. So let's just get this one out of the way immediately because it trips up so many people who are just starting out. Are business analysis and business analytics the exact same thing? The answer is a big, resounding no. Here's a simple way to think about it. Business analysis is all about defining the what. You're kind of like the translator between what the business wants and what the development team needs to build. Business analytics, on the other hand, is all about the why that's hiding in the data. You're using stats and programming to find trends and insights. Now, to start off strong, you have to avoid a few common traps. First up, don't just rely on job descriptions to understand the role. They can be a real confusing mess of skills. Second, focus on the core BA fundamentals before you try to become an expert in a specific industry, like finance. And last but not least, please remember that certifications are there to supplement your knowledge. They're not a replacement for it. All right, with those myths totally busted, the path forward is a whole lot clearer. Now we get to the really fun part, actually building the skills and the knowledge you're going to need. This is where you forge your toolkit. This quote right here, this is the golden rule. You just can't learn things at random and hope it all comes together. Building a career is kind of like building a house. You've got to lay a solid foundation before you can even think about putting up the walls. There's an order to it, and it matters. So your learning path should follow a pretty clear sequence. First, build that foundation with some structured courses. Then, as you're learning, you've got to immerse yourself in the industry. So follow the key blogs and websites. And most importantly, don't just learn, do. You got to practice with free tools to turn all that theory into a real, tangible skill. You've got the knowledge. You've practiced the skills. Now it's time for the boss battle, landing that first job. I know this can feel like the toughest part of the whole quest, but trust me, we can break it down into a few manageable trials. Your resume is your entry ticket. And if you're new to the field, you probably don't have direct BA experience. And you know what? That's totally okay. The trick is to highlight your transferable skills. Think about all the times you've solved problems or managed requirements or communicated complex ideas. You just have to frame that experience in the language of a business analyst. Boom! Your resume did its job. You passed the first test. Congratulations. Now comes the main event. Good preparation is what separates a pretty good candidate from a hired one. So how are you going to conquer this interview? When you get a technical question about something like SQL or Agile, just remember this key insight. They are not testing your ability to recite a textbook definition. No, they're testing your ability to communicate. If you can explain a complex idea simply, you prove that you can be that essential bridge between the technical and the business teams. Okay, next up, they're going to want to see how you think on your feet. They'll throw you a hypothetical problem, something like, your stakeholders are all disagreeing on a key feature. What do you do? The secret weapon for these is structure. Don't just start rambling. Start by clarifying the problem. Then outline your approach, describe the specific actions you would take, and then talk about the positive outcome you'd expect. This shows them you're a methodical, effective problem solver. Ah, yes, the case study. This is where they give you a business problem and a whole bunch of information and then ask for a solution. It can feel super intimidating, I know, but there's a trick to it. The single biggest mistake you can make here is jumping straight to a solution. You have to resist that urge. A great BA proves their value by asking questions first. Clarify goals, challenge assumptions, define the constraints. Show them your analytical process before you even think about proposing an answer. You did it! You got the job offer, but the journey is not over. Not even close. Those first 90 days in your new role are absolutely critical for setting yourself up for long-term success. So, use the DARE framework to guide you through those first 3 months. D is for discover your key stakeholders. These people are your allies. A is for ask questions like crazy. It shows you're engaged, not that you're ignorant. R is for read all the documentation you can get your hands on to understand the history and context. And E is for experiment with the tools and systems to speed up your hands-on learning. And one final piece of wisdom from the guide. Your first few weeks, maybe even months, they might be tough. You might feel like you don't know anything. That is completely normal. Give yourself some grace, give the company a chance, and just trust the process. Real learning takes time. So there you have it. We've gone from clearing up all that initial confusion to building your toolkit, conquering the job hunt, and finally having a solid strategy for succeeding from your very first day. You officially have the map. The map is in your hands. The path is clear. The only thing left to do is to take that first step. So what's it going to be? Are you going to go look up a foundational course, find a BA blog to follow? Your journey starts with that one single action. Good luck.